It is indeed a glorious, glorious day here. Of course, it is indeed time for Change the F Up. Hello, everybody. My name is Nate the Effing Gray, your host. I'm being joined here by the lovely and talented and now Academy Award-winning VicTori Belle. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing very well. It thankfully stopped snowing outside, so don't have to worry too much about that. We're kind of doing things a little bit different here because usually we've been doing things over a Skype call, but now we're doing it over a phone call just because due to a lot of things that have been going on. So if it sounds a little bit less quality-wise, we do apologize, but it's just right now all we can do right now, so just bear with us. But we are going to be discussing quite a bit about the Oscars, which we saw this past weekend and was pretty entertaining. Also covering base on a couple other things, but before we get into too much, wanted to talk about this that happened a few days ago, the passing of actor Bill Paxton. He's one of those guys, I didn't really get a chance to watch too many of his movies, but I definitely knew who he was from one of his great movies, Twister. Got the chance to see him in Mighty Joe Young, as well as the second and third Spy Kids movie when he was playing Dickie Winks, which I actually did not even know that he played that. He definitely could be a funny character. He definitely could be an adventurous character. He's just one of those guys. I wish I got the chance to know more, and I could still watch a lot of his movies, but again, just a true legend in the movie business. Thoughts and prayers go out to the Paxton family. No, it's tough to deal with the loss, but that's been my experience with Bill Paxton. You get a chance to ever watch a lot of his movies?
Yeah, I mean, he's in Alien and Predator, and I'm pretty sure he's in a Terminator too, so he was really, high into the horror community, even though some people might not consider those, like, classic horrors. I think they definitely have that thrill alien horror concept, and he was always, not like the starring role, but just a character that always held some, a big part in people's hearts and stuff. And he's just that kind of actor that he was either, you feel like he was like the dad or some sort of funny comic relief character, but really good actor, and too soon for him to go.
Yeah, and well, actually, what's going to be crazy is now that I'm looking at his filmography bio, and it actually says that his recent film that he did was The Circle. He's playing a father role, but now I'm looking at I wanted to kind of see the movie anyway because I thought Emma Watson, Tom Hanks actually looks like a really good movie. But now I think a lot of people are going to see that just to see, I think, Bill Paxton's final performance before he passed on. So I think it'll be interesting to see how it goes with that. But
right.
But like I said, now we can move on to the. See, I thought there was one other thing that I wanted to talk about. Let me check really quick.
There was.
What was the? Oh, that's right. Oh my gosh, how could I forget about that? Logan is premiering this Friday, you guys. For those of you that don't know, basically another Wolverine movie, but it's rated R, and a lot of people are really getting into it, saying that it could be Oscar worthy. So that is yet to be seen, but it is interesting seeing the trailers and seeing how different it is from a lot of the other Wolverine movies that I've gotten the chance to see. But also, funny thing, you've probably seen this a lot, but on Facebook they have just been really, really stressing that this movie is rated R, and that it's probably not the best movie to bring your kids to. It's gory, it's going to be violent. What's that?
I feel like we've seen this before on another superhero movie that people should have not brought their kids, but they did anyway.
Well, I mean, yeah, but
what movie would that be?
I wonder, what could it be, like a red guy that basically, wouldn't call him much of a douchebag, but kind of more of the funny kind of person that you would expect to really get their ass kicked and still be comical doing it. Possibly Deadpool by chance, more than likely. But
I'm gonna guess Logan isn't the same type of R rating as Deadpool, as in, like, it's not going to be as foul and, sexy and risque, but I bet it's high on the violence, and I can still see the cursing being pretty strong, so I would not bring your child to that, and it's probably going to be very violent if they go by the comic.
Yeah, I definitely do agree with that. But, let's get right into what we were really getting the chance to talk to, and that being the Oscars. Our thoughts on them, basically a review on that. Starting off, actually, with the critical reception and television ratings. Apparently, this attained about a 32.9 million U.S. viewers, according to the Nielsen ratings, and for some reason, it's mentioned that the telecast was about 4% less viewership than what it was at last year's ceremony, and had the lowest U.S. viewership since the 80th ceremony in 2008, which averaged about 32 million viewers. And to that I say, so what? I mean, all honesty, one night of the year, you get 32 million views. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, it's still pretty good. I can understand if it went down to 20 million or 10 million, that could be a big deal, but only a 4% drop, that's not a big deal. It's one of those things where, it happens. Some people just maybe didn't like the alignment, maybe they didn't like, all the nominations, but it's not really that big of a deal. I don't know, your thoughts?
Well, being a part of the TV business for 2.5 years, ratings, sorry, I have pet birds, everyone, and for some reason I have to be by them today, and they enjoy my voice and your voice, so they talk to me. So if you hear little, squeaks in the background, it's my birds trying to put their opinions in, and they don't want your... Be quiet. But, like I would say, being in the TV business for 2.5 years, ratings is everything to them. It is how you make your money. It's how you sell advertisements. It's everything. So any form of droppage is bad. And what did you say their most highest year was?
Actually, I don't think it mentioned their highest year. It mentioned it was just a 4% decrease from last year, and that it was about the same amount of viewership since the 80th ceremony.
Okay, so it sounds to me like they've been having a pretty nice coverage for 9 years, and since this was the 89th Oscar, right?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure it's the 89th, so for them to go back 9 years and have a drop, it's never a good thing. Yeah, you could say so what about it, but the only thing is since TV's business, it is a business. It's not just for entertainment, sadly. You just have to see why. And when you last year having the hashtag all white Oscars type of thing, you would think that it would have lower ratings than this year, but I don't know. I could see it being something that people are done with the political views being thrown across their screens constantly in these award shows. And Hollywood loves to do that. Hollywood loves to talk about, the negativity of the president and whatnot. And I could see how some people might be sick of that, just don't want to watch award shows that are going to just bash people that, a decent amount of people did vote for Trump. So you got to be careful if you're going to do a whole award show and have constant jokes against him. Some people are not going to want to watch it. So it's that flirtation of being, wanting to, of course, voice your opinion and also wanting to have a larger amount of viewers. And from a producing and production side, I probably would have limited the jokes just a little, not because I disagree with them personally or anything like that. I thought most of them were pretty funny, but just because half the country is split. Half the country loves Trump, half the country hates Trump. Even if over social media everybody's like, oh, this and that, and this and that. Sadly, they're still pretty split. So it's hard to get those viewers if you're going to bash somebody they like the whole time. That would be my only thing. I don't think I blame the movies or the nominees or anyone else or even the host. I thought Jimmy Kimmel did a good job. I think it's just the whole aspect of what award shows are about now, and sadly some people don't want to watch that.
Yeah, and that's actually a smooth transition to the next thing I want to talk about, and that being, of course, Jimmy Kimmel hosting. I honestly thought that he did a phenomenal job. He was definitely funny. He definitely knew how to keep everybody's interest into the show. If I had to basically break it down for people what it was like to have Jimmy Kimmel as host, I would say, as far as like everything that he did, in my opinion, I don't think he really did too much in the way of Donald Trump jokes, except like at the beginning and a couple times during the show. So I would say maybe like 15% of the show was probably directed towards Donald Trump. 35% was probably all of his other jokes that he either did on his late night show or just random things that he thought of. And 50% was on his quote-unquote beef with Matt Damon, because, oh my gosh, those moments were just golden. Jeez Louise. I mean, his viewing of when a lot of things that they did was that they had like an actor watching a classic movie. Jimmy Kimmel was watching We Bought a Zoo and saying how bad it was and how he was the only one in a theater. Or when Matt Damon was up doing a presentation with Ben Affleck and Jimmy Kimmel was in the orchestra pit looking like he's just trying to cut him off. That was kind of more what I got out of the entire thing, was, again, the quote-unquote, like I said, the quote-unquote beef with Matt Damon, which was, again, golden. It was awesome, just flat-out funny, and it made me kind of not focus so much on the political jokes that they kept on making, although some of the jokes were actually pretty funny. But, I don't know, am I wrong for assuming that's kind of how I see Jimmy Kimmel as the host for Sunday?
Oh, no, I thought he did a good job. I think his Trump jokes were a little higher than 15%. I mean, he did that whole, it was funny when he was tweeting at him and stuff like that. He did that. He did a lot of stuff, but everybody kind of, took a swing. Which, I thought the tweeting thing was hilarious. Are you up, bro? And stuff like that. Like, you watching what we're doing right now? Narrow so high. But, yeah, I thought one of the best things that he did, which some people were like, this is super weird, this is super dumb, but I loved his little, like, whole planning a sketch of having the people coming from the tour bus to the Oscars, and he made somebody super famous here in Chicago. We got Gary from Chicago, who basically got married by Denzel Washington. He's famous here now. Everybody's tweeting at him, the Bulls, and I think the Bulls and the Sox, because he was repping the Sox attire. They literally say he is welcome to be like a special guest at a Bulls game, a special guest at a Sox game, and literally Chicago was going crazy over Gary. So I'm pretty sure his Twitter following, I don't know how much he jumped, but they said it spiked exponentially. And just I just heard him over the radio a few times this week in general, and I just thought it's so funny, like this random guy who thought he was going on a tour bus to just see Hollywood from Chicago is now blowing up in this city. So it's really funny. It's quite entertaining. Well,
actually, it was kind of crazy because that was actually one of the first things that I remember watching when I was having breakfast at the hotel room. I remember just watching the news, and one of the first things that they were talking about was, again, the couple from Chicago. And I'm like, well, I mean, they're making news headlines, and everybody's probably just thinking like, oh man, got to follow this guy, got to tweet this guy, got to do that. But I didn't realize that he got that much. I wouldn't say publicity, but that much of a reception, of a reaction from everybody saying like, oh yeah, you're rocking the Bulls attire, the Sox attire, all that, and just getting like, I don't know, just that kind of special, I guess, attention. Which hey, spot on you, man. That's pretty awesome. The other thing that kind of stood out to me about that whole bus tour deal was the other couple, as